Thanks for joining us on this Monday night. We're live on YouTube for what is unfortunately about a 50-minute session. That's all we've got this evening, partly because we've been trying to sync up everybody's clocks to be able to go online at the same time, but there is load shedding for one of us at the top of the hour. So that's why it is a contracted show. So blame ESCOM, folks. We usually go on for as long as we want, but not tonight. And like I said, we started a bit later because in some areas there wasn't load shedding for us to be able to start. Gotta love it. So, good evening and welcome. Monday Night Football reflections on the season that has just ended as far as the maiden DSTV Premiership in that, guys, has come to an end. Some of the permutations we had known a couple of weeks ago, the champs, and kind of like, who was going down. But in the end, there's a lot of confusion around that. We'll speak about how the playoffs are going to pan out because as it stands, we don't know who's really won the Glad Africa Championship. That's still going to be fought in the boardroom and in the court, it would seem. So yeah, let me take this opportunity to welcome my panel. I've got Calvin Sosibo and Greg Atafia joining me this evening. We're hopefully going to have a member of SAFCHA on the show tonight as well. We're still trying to make that happen just to kind of get a latest update. And if it's this particular journalist, then I want to get his thoughts on a story he wrote as to whether or not, let's start here, gents. Biggest controversy coming out of the awards was the awarding of the coach of the year. So obviously a lot of people have a view that most times that award should go to the winningest coach in the league and the coach who wins the league, which in this case would have been Mangoba and Rulani. That didn't happen. So it went to Benny McCarthy instead, who did lift Amazulu from the doldrums to a second place finish. Calvin Sosibo, your thoughts on that awarding of the best manager this season?
Yeah, it's a tricky situation, but to simplify it and make it easy, I think stats. Uh, I think stats are the most important part of this game, and I think at the end of the day, if you look at the stats, you're looking at a coach that has only lost one match. For him not to walk away with the accolade was very sad because at the end of the day, you are judged by you winning the league. Yes, we do understand that Benny came in late. He lifted the team to a second spot. They made history. They've met their goal targets. But if you look at the bigger picture, once you win the league, that's the ultimate. You're supposed to walk away with the trophy. But at this point, it's the same as saying, I don't remember a point where Mangoba has actually gotten coach of the month. But if you look at the results, they are very telling that the amount of the amount of stats that he has acquired, it's an automatic for me for him to get the actually the accolade. So I don't know how the criteria is for them to award Benny the trophy. Is it was based on popularity or what? So I'm not quite sure about that.
Popularity. Okay. Well, no, Sundowns got it for Coach of the Month in May and June. So they did get the award throughout the season, just not the big one. Remember, if you want to engage, you can send us a WhatsApp on 065-874-8881, 065-874-8881. That is the WhatsApp number to send a message to, and then we'll pop you the Zoom link, and then you can have your say in the allotted time. Greg Atafia, Calvin says the stats don't lie. It should have been two of the three wise men as the co-coaches. They should have taken the award. Agree or disagree?
No, totally agree, with Kelvin there. Good evening to you and to our viewers and listeners. For me, there's no question about it. Benny came in if I'm not mistaken, November. He took over a team that only won one game out of 7, and he did very well, but he never started the league. Yeah, he came in when he needed to lift the spirit of Amazulu and actually won a lot of games in terms of going 6 games without losing, winning 6 games, and won Coach of the Month in March and April, and with his goalkeeper, he did a lot of good things in Amazulu in terms of what he has done. He won 17 games, and yeah, they didn't concede so much, and they score a lot of goals, So, but at the end of the day, in anywhere in the whole world, except in South Africa, the coaches that won the league never won the coach of the season. I don't know which criteria they use in judging that, but on my understanding is, 30 games in the league, and you include that with the semifinals in the Telcom. In terms of semifinals in Telcom, losing penalty against TTM, and all the way to the Champions League, which is another story. But in the league, I think they deserve. Rolani and Margretti, they deserve to get that coach of the month. For me, I think they are the one well deserved to get it.
Well, the thing is, I think, there was an article that came out, I think around March, that kind of spoke about if you had to kind of take, the points per game for the games he was in charge. I mean, he had an amazing run where I think he won like 15, 14 games or 15, 14 games unbeaten, let's say, which was, via ratio would have put him well above 60 and in contention for the title. So could that maybe be a metric that they used, looking at his time and what he's done? Whereas obviously if you spread over the points of Sundowns over a season, it becomes less points per game, not taking away anything from their efforts.
Sorry, Kabza. I mean, this is a team of Sundowns that won the league with 13 points different. That said a lot. No one said that it's not Benny making for him to start late in the season, but the coaches that started the season won the league with 13 points, 3 games to go in terms of the league. They won it already. I mean, that's a big class. That show, they have the superior over everyone in the league. I mean, it's not only them. They started with everyone, which, the 16 teams. So, we cannot just judge on that base. Benny came on his own. A lot of other teams, they came and, they couldn't manage but what Benny did. But at the same time, we are talking about over 30 games. And you must judge a team that only lost against Kaiser Chiefs in a season and did well, in the league. I just feel, for me particularly, I just feel like, Sundowns coaches deserve to be coach of the season.
And Kelvin, the mix of like cups and other accolades, is it only based on the season? What if you do well in the cup and you win 2 cups, but then you're not the coach that won the league? Who's the better coach?
The better coach is the coach that wins the league. Period. That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
The coach that wins the league is the one that's supposed to walk away with the coach of the season, because you are judged based on the league.
Okay, so tell me this: if Brendan Trutter had finished second, Kelvin, having come up from the Glad Africa Championship and led Sundowns hypothetically to second place, because obviously he caused a lot of controversy by sometimes pipping the co-coaches at Sundowns to the manager of the month. Had he done that and maybe been consistent and finished at second, would he not qualify?
He will qualify as a nominee, but if he doesn't win the league, for me, no.
Okay. Interesting. That seems to be the sentiment. People are saying here, even midfield of the season wasn't correct. People reckon that Zwane doesn't deserve it, that he plays more as part of a front three. And so in terms of that kind of the mis-awarding in some sectors, do you think there were other awards that didn't make sense to you? Does the Themba Zwane one wash with you guys? Do you think that he was not a worthy recipient?
No. Themba. Okay, Kevin.
Yeah, I think for me, Themba Zwane was worth of the nominee, and with what he's done, I think it warranties for him to actually to get the accolade. I would feel some people would feel that he's part of the front three, but that's the modern way of play. So if he's more involved in an attacking third, yes, he's an attacking mid, which becomes when they're using a false nine, you become a front forward. So him playing in the middle and add more numbers when they are attacking. So that also has to count it in the principal position. Principal position is an attacking mid. So when we're judging based on that, they are using more or less him on the front foot. Yes, it's the system that they apply, but he is a midfielder. So I think for me, he does deserve to actually collect the accolade, and he's done exceptionally well with the number of goals that he has scored, which has made Sundowns to be in the position that they're in, because they've been shadowing around him, coming late in the box and scoring those goals. He wasn't their top man where he was their point of reference, but he was a player that made sure that he plays between the lines, he plays into half spaces, he creates spaces for strikers to score, the Sirinos, the Shaolile. There's a lot of work that was done by Zwane for Shaolile to actually to show his full potential, because if you see the number of games that Zwane has not played on after his injury, you could see a slightly dent, but Shaolile mastering and manipulating the runs and the spaces that he used to utilize, he needs to utilize in the game. It made it easy for him. Even the player that were fitting there, they were fitting to replace Swane because of the quality that Sanders possessed.
Greg?
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, going with what Kevin is saying, for me, apart from Tembazwani, is in terms of ways in the combat zone, in terms of the midfield, if you go to the final third, which I mean, as an attacking player, he always have that ability to finish and playing his teammates into a good position. We not forget this was he was a player of the season. That was last season, and all eyes will always be on him, to repeat the same feat. But he managed to do that this season with his form and with his performance all around. I think he did very well. But for me, for my thinking, or for my where I was sitting, my judging was, I think, Rivado Kosea. I think he's one player this season that really, stood well, in terms of the way Sundance play, because Sundance play, he actually play as a quarterback, in terms of when the two center backs split, he's the one that always come and receive the ball, either from the keeper, Dennis Oyango, or from the two center back, and play out. So every time when Sundance play from the back to go to the front, Rivado was the ball player. That's why we couldn't see much of a Kekana this season, because Rivado is the one doing a good job there. So every play and every flow of Sundance always start with him. And people, other teams tried to stop him, but they couldn't. So, I mean, for me, I think he deserves something. But Tembazwani, I mean, giving it to him, there's no bad feeling there, because I mean, he is one of the top players and one that make Peter shine very well this season.
All right, no, cool. I hear you. Let's have a look at some of the comments there. Omolemo Tsomele saying, can we talk about efficient utilization of resources? Benny did not only lead Amazulu to CAF, but he used players of less quality. Does that come into effect in terms of what you have at your disposal and turning sometimes, and some players were seen as forgotten men into world beaters?
No, I mean, Shabalala is a World Cup player.
No, but I mean, he didn't play that many games, man. Come on, Greg.
He's part of the team. He's part of the team, Kabza. When you're part of the team, your contribution mustn't be only on the pitch. You can contribute off the pitch. And he is one player. I mean, the motivation is going to be given to those players, or the players seeing him in that squad, they will be motivated to do well. You have Molinga, which is, I mean, he's number one assist in the country. He did very well. He's a big player coming from Zambia International. You have Nzava there in the defense. So there's a lot of quality players. If you talk about resources there, Golden Arrows is the one that we said about. We're talking about they don't have resources because most of their players are coming from the MDC side,
Right.
And so I just
from
think
within.
So I feel like I mean they have quality there. They have quality at Amazulu. They didn't started well. Beginning of the season, the president wanted them to finish top 4. and he knows what he has there. He spent a lot of money to get the quality players. For me, I just think, okay, Benny did very well. Not taking away anything that Benny, for him to get the coach of the season. He did very well for where Amazulu was and how they've been playing for a very long time. They have been ending to go to the CAF Champions League, which is the ultimate. I mean, playing in Africa is one club. That's where you want to play. And Benny, I well deserve, to push the team to that position. But we are saying over 30 games, Sundowns coaches deserve to win coach of the season.
Okay, cool. Well, let's just run off those winners. The highlights here. Football of the season going to none other than Peter Shalulile, and he was also the player's player of the season. Coach of the season, Benny McCarthy. Dennis Onyango as the keeper of the season. And Jabulo Ngobo from Swallows FC as the defender of the season. Also getting roped in to the next Bafana squad. Alongside Evidence Mahopa, who was the PSL Young Player of the season, the Baroka FC man. Goal of the season going to Teboho Mokoena. Bradley Hobla with the golden boots. I mean, can people make an argument, guys, that golden boot, should be? I guess that's where you make the distinction. Is there maybe an opportunity to separate this coaching thing so we can have one that speaks to the stats and then have one that speaks to whatever you guys think they're using besides stats? Because some people reckon it's a popularity contest. Some people say the journalists love Benny. So you want it just to be on the metrics, just the stats.
Just the stats. I think the stats will simplify it, because who are you going to give? Were you going to give it to Shaolile now because he came second at Krobla? Because you consider the number of games that one has played and the games that he has scored against? No. We always consider the fact that he is on top. He deserves to be there. There's nothing, no second best. Is the one that is leading the pack. So as the same as the coaches. You win the big league, that's it. So no compromise on that. How it was voted, we still need to know. Who are the people that are voting? Also, that needs to. We also need to know the criteria that they're using. Also,
maybe it's the same people who voted for Pizzo when he won it without winning the league at Supersport. Maybe it's the same people.
Is it 2004-2005 season you're talking about? And Kaizer Chiefs won the league and in that season. But with going back to the Grobler one, I think for the top scorer, at least he goes two goals at this time. You remember last season it was 14 goals, if I'm not mistaken. Peter and what's his name, Mango, that shared the top goal scorer award. So I think this season, he deserves it. He has been knocking on the door for a very long time. And I think, this is the right time for him with his injuries and all those things. He didn't play a lot of games, as Kevin alluded to. So, but he did very well to win it. But, Peter gave him a run, he just comes short of one goal. And I just think, but he always going to give the number one, which, there's no doubt about it. The same thing with the coach of the season.
Yeah, no, seems to be quite a firestorm there as far as the midfielder of the season. The chat is going wild as far as, just people not agreeing with the Tembazwane with some people saying, look at the likes of Mahaula, Sipombule, Goodman Musele, Nkosipile Ngobo, playing in the CAF at this age. I guess, you're not always going to be able to get it right when it comes to these awards. But then the way the table ended makes for an interesting start to next season, guys. You with the MTN 8, already the matchup of Chiefs versus Sundowns. Amongst the others, there's a lot of good matchups in that top 8, but that one kind of, piques the interest because obviously a friend of the show, Velila, reckons that it's Stuart Baxter coming in. That'll be him up against the Three Wise Men. So, that's a great subplot already to look forward to.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one with the Chiefs going to the market and then acquiring some exceptional players, having a balance in the squad. It's going to test two coaches in terms of their planning and their way of how they're going to phase out through the season. Philosophies will be implemented highly now when it has to come to Chiefs side, which is now maybe going to see another side of Chiefs where the fans are going to start to enjoy the free flowing football, the build ups, the goals, the creativity from both sides. So it will be a true test starting the season, having those two teams at the top, one being crowned champions, one sneaking into the top eight. So I think it's time for them to remodel and fix their mistakes from when they went wrong. And then they have a very tough task. And knowing very well that Chiefs is a big club, so is Sundowns. So Sundowns also wanting to dominate at the end of the day. So it will be an interesting match to see as an opener.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Greg, with all the rumored players coming into Kaiser Chiefs, the embargo is gone now. It's a good time for Stuart Baxter to be arriving, and I'm sure they're going to make good use of this delay in upgrading and adding to the squad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kaiser Chiefs, they can't wait, for next season because of the players. I think they have already, the pre-contracts they have already secured for a lot of good players, and a lot of players want to go there at value now. And I mean, if the rumors is true, Steve Basta coming in, I mean, let me just say about 40% or 30% of the player that you work with, the Motos, the Packers, the Kunis, I think they really know him and they know what he can contribute with the other players around the team. I think they're gonna do well. It's gonna be interesting battle, and the only team that beats Sundance, for this season, is Kaiser Chiefs, and Kaiser Chiefs against Sundance is always a big game, and yeah. So we're just looking forward to that game. That will be a very explosive game, and I just think next season will be very interesting for everyone.
Okay. No, it will be. And let's maybe look ahead also at what will be happening with Bafana Bafana. Obviously they're in action this week. Some changes, but man, just reading the names of that squad, it seems like that the average age would have come down quite a bit of our squad, because there just seems to be a very young mix of players, Kelvin. And maybe a lot of people are going to say it's about time, man. Let's see what these kids can do, instead of going to the old hands. And maybe, this is just a glimpse of what his plans are. Maybe he's just using it as an opportunity to cast an eye over what else he has. But what do you make up of the mix of players? And what are your expectations going into those friendlies?
Yeah, my expectation through this, yes, the coach will actually want to see players that are coming to the fold. Players have picked themselves to be in this national team, and they are called for the duty, and they have to deliver. So I think for the coach, it's a good platform for him to rebuild. Yes, we know it's not a right phase to say rebuilding a national team, because national team we need results. Ready-made players, players that do understand the system and how the nation needs to play. So for a coach, it's an opportunity that's going to be a true test. How is he going to soak up and how is he going to prepare going forward? Because the next thing is to qualify for the World Cup. And what is important now, I know, for instance, the opposition that we're going to be playing, they're going to bring their strong team, knowing very well that when they play against this national team, they want to put themselves in the window. Towards the end of the season, players want to be on other teams' shopping lists as other teams are looking to boost their squad in terms of defense, attack, or goalkeeper. This is an opportunity. And also for players that have been chosen, it's their time to cement and create history. It's you to keep yourself into that national team, or it's for you to mess up. This is a stage where you do not need to have a stage fright. You need to really show the coach why you've been chosen to be there, or the past 30 games that you've been involved in, or the number of games that you have played. It's an opportunity for you to cement your position, because this is a fresh start for everybody. If you look at the age, as we've mentioned now, that the age has been trimmed down quite a bit. It's for the energy level that the coach needs, and it's for the coach having to work with players that still want to learn, players that are still have mileage on their legs, and players that are more dynamic. So yes, when it comes to the other experienced nations, it's going to be a bit of a challenge when it comes to experience from our side, because you're looking at the squad age. Some of them had never been before on those stage on that stage playing at the national team level. But yes, the coach is experienced and he knows the balance. The team that is chosen to represent us. I'm sure it's going to give him a good sight into what to build for the future.
Greg, I mean, Ronwin Williams probably gets the start along with Bavuma on the bench, but I'm looking at that defense, the likes of CBC, Rashin Rook, Mayela from Pirates, you've got Mabaliso, you've got Denwin Farmer, and Ngobo from Swallows. You feeling confident in terms of, having those players in front of you as a keeper? Or are you wondering why the likes of Tyson maybe wasn't called up to the squad, or doesn't he deserve to be called up to the squad? What do you make up of this defensive group that they've assembled for this one?
I think it's a good squad in terms of the defense. There's some old heads there, which they can carry the new ones. The good thing about this squad is the players that did well in the season. The likes of nobody one from Swallows. I think he did very well. He was steady. He's confident, and I think he's gonna make a big move, to one of the big team, and which he surely deserve. But going back to Tyson, I think for me, as a captain, Tyson, even though you're not going to play him, I think he deserves to be in the team, because as a coach, the captain, you bring him around, all over the whole world, you can start afresh, but slowly, steady, you can shift the old guys out. But at the same time, you need those old guys at least to judge from yourself, because you can just come and start afresh without the captain. For me, I think Tyson deserves to be in that team. At least start with him, so that if you want to shift him out step by step. But you starting from the fresh now, I think maybe he know what he's doing. He did that at Cameroon and it worked for him. So I pray it worked for him in South Africa too. But at the same time, is this a fairly a good team? I just hope they can start well, because the friendly games, there's no friendly games. Every team want to win, and as a coach you want to win every game. There's no time you say you want to build. These players are already playing week in week out in the PSL, which is one of the best league in the country, and they have done well. They have been nominated in terms of best defenders, young players, and new ones that came in now, the likes of the one from Baraka, the striker. He's a quality striker, So
Yeah,
I think,
evidence.
yeah, evidence, I think a lot of players in the squad there can add value, but it's the combination now that the coach needs, because I mean the game is on Thursday. There's not much time for him to, really do a lot of things. He just for him to hope and just pray the players are fit, and to guide them for the game and see how it goes from there. But at the same time, he's not going to be around, so his assistant coaches are going to take over. So I mean, it's a good excuse for him, to not be around, at least to watch the game from side and see what goes on.
But I think also Calvin, he's gotten a nice blend. It seems like, also roping in what a former junior internationals will probably help, because they know what's expected of them at this level. They've played in some important matches at youth stages. So there probably was a need for like a Helman Mkele to kind of, help blend in that experience from our younger structures. And that probably makes the job a little easier going with such a quick turnaround into the first game.
Yeah. I also still feel that Malefe being thrown out was a best fit on this, to manage those players, because he's worked more. He has worked far much better than Helman. No disrespect to him, but Nseki has been the one that managed those players, and he was actually timing for them to get into the right time where he can actually present them to the national team. But nevertheless, Helman is there. Surely he's going to do the job to see us to how we need to manage those players that will be there in terms of fitting into positions. Yes, the coach knows that a blend of youngsters, like how he did with Cameroon, it's just that it's different from Cameroon. Almost all the players are playing in Europe. And in us, it's like we have like 80 to 90% of locals. So there's a difference there. And the hunger is not the same like Cameroonian players than South African players. Those are some of the dynamics that we need to put up across the board, so then we have a fair judgment, but not taking away the good that the squad is being presented for us. I'm hoping that the boys stick to the game plan and stick to the mandate of us getting into the qualification zone. While we're building steadily from now, I think there's a bigger room for us to improve.
And Greg, what does this do for Hellman being in the mix with Hugo Bruce and his assistant, Zirimo Janevski? I mean, Hellman obviously, maybe didn't have the best of times with the under 20. Clearly a man who's passionate about improving and getting better at his craft. How does it help him being around these old hands?
I mean, it's going to help him a lot. I don't understand what Kevin is saying about Nseki must stay around. No. The old guys, they must go in terms of the coach. They give him a chance. He didn't perform. He must give other people a chance. Hellman is there.
No,
Hellman,
I don't think you understood me. I'm saying Nseki has worked more. He has worked far better than Hellman.
In terms of the junior level.
Yeah, so
what did he win? What did he win? He didn't win anything. What did he win with the junior side?
I'm saying in terms of developing. Nseki is a much more stronger.
No, we're not developing. Kevin, we're not developing. Kevin, we want to win. We want to win.
I think you guys have missed each other on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm saying Nseki has worked with these boys far better than Hellman. That's what I'm saying. So for him to be there, it was going to be a good transition for those players because it's somebody that they've worked with. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
but
maybe.
But he was in the head. He didn't invite most of the players. So it's time for other coaches.
I think Greg might have a point there, Calvin. Would the squad look the same if Molefe Nseki was still the coach?
No, he was going to be assistant on this time around, not a head coach.
Yeah, what I'm saying, but for sure. Okay, but don't you think he would have then gone to the players that he knew from his squads?
No. The coach.
Then why was he not picking those players now? Like this is what I don't understand. Is like why was he not picking them then?
Thank you.
They were playing because now they reshuffle. Guys, understand this. The coach has reshuffled everything, right? So when I'm talking about the youngsters, it's not going to take everybody, but the coach will have to ask as a head coach to say, Coach, I've watched the matches. You have worked with these players. These are the players that I'm thinking that I need to take. What do you say? He's not just going to present those players to the coach and say, hey, Coach, pick this one, pick this one, pick this one. No.
Would it just not be easier to pick them based on form? Is that not what we established? That if you're picking players on form and how they're doing, then, I mean, you just pick them on form. Whether Molefe Nseki is there or not, someone would be able to tell the coach that this guy has been on form. Right?
Maybe you have a different boost, but yeah, go on, Greg.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
you're just, aren't you happy he's at Chiefs, Kelvin?
Kevin, it's like I've done his part. Yeah, I've done his part. He didn't qualify for 24 team, so he must just, give other people.
Sit this one out. He must sit this one out.
Hellman is there. Let's see what they can do. I mean, Hugo Bruce, he really trusts. He said it on his press conference that he need a local, that we understand the same philosophy that he needs to apply. So I think Hellman fits that one. He has played for Bafana. He has done everything. He has played for the country, and he has done well with the development. I think it's a chance for him to develop as an assistant coach, at least before the contract of Hugo Bruce runs out. At least he's going to get a lot of experience, for him to lead, the country, either on the 23 or the 20 or even the senior national team. So it's good for him to learn now and be learning with the youngsters. In terms of when I mean youngsters, the average age of the team, lesser than the former national team we used to know. So they're building from the scratch now. I think it's a good time for him to push through the team.
Okay, I'm going to go to YouTube real quick and just dip into the chats. No one seems to agree with you guys that Tyson should have been called up to the national team. In fact, some say the award should have had the category of the poorest defender of the season, and Tyson would have won that one. So, yeah, but no one seems to.
Kabza, he wasn't playing alone.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, no one seems to be convinced, Greg, that he was, even if he wasn't playing alone, that he was playing well enough to merit a call up to the national team.
For me, I'm just saying, as a captain of the national, the former squad, that he was a captain for a very long time. When you come as a new coach, you still bring him in, If you want to shift him out, it takes time. You need to build with him to know around what's happening in the camp, because he knows a lot and he has that experience in terms of playing in the continent. He played with Vets. He played with what they call it now, Pirates, and he did that with the national team. So I think he still have that experience to guide those young ones that are coming. Not that he's not gonna. There's no time. There's a time for him to leave, but step by step he can go.
Okay, so Greg, you're like a new broom, sweeps clean, but you must still keep the old broom around so that it can also sweep and feel like it's gonna get kicked out later. Is that, have I got you right? Because a new broom just sweeps clean, and the coach has done exactly that. He's come in and he's made some changes, and that's it.
The spine of the team, which I mean, is always important for you to keep them. And he's one part of the team that is very important in terms of as a leader or what he has contributed for the national team. The way he plays in the national team, I don't think you can judge him the way he's playing at the club side. So it's a different, and he has that experience. That's what I'm just trying to, emphasize on that. He has that experience in terms of, playing the national team, playing a lot of tournament in AFCON and CAF Champions League. And I mean, he is the captain of the national team.
Okay. No, yeah, let's see here. Michael Muiketsisilo says, I'm with Sosibo on this one. Look at this current squad. The call-up wasn't made by Helmut either, Hugo, but Safa technical team. And Zeki wasn't chosen. Didn't choose his own players too, I think he's saying there. And then let's see, as far as I'm trying to find. Yeah, no, Tyson is bad. No justification. For those of you still trying to make excuses for Tyson, guys, Tyson is just, people aren't hearing it. Sorry. Like, your professional opinion this time, people are like, "Hi, guys."
No, I understand where people are coming from. Due to the mix and the quality that Tyson has been under, to a big team, maybe failing to adapt, maybe failing to being exposed in critical areas, because he's been part of the national team when we were still at Vets. Are we seeing, how do we then determine or judge a player that has been in the squad, not trying to make his way there, who's actually cemented his position?
There can't be a cementing. No, there can't be a cementing. You must play on, you must be based on what are going to contribute right now. It can't be based on sentiment, guys. It's a results-based business. We all know that, like, it's a very quick turnaround.
Kevin, wait, Pesitao. So what has he contributed in EPL? Well, it's in the national team. Every week in, week out.
I don't think it's been as much of a liability to Brighton as Tyson has been to Pirates. Can you say that?
Tyson depends on how we're looking at it.
Yeah, guys. No. Here's the thing. I get it. Percy doesn't get to play as much, but Tyson does, and he gets exposed in that playing. So as much as we don't see Percy, what do you mean it's good? It shows him up, and that's exactly why people are like, no, I'm not convinced.
It's better. We're working with somebody that is tested. Now we're going to see him when you compare with other teammates that are there. Because if now you're going to have the different pairings, if you're going to have Ngobo and Tyson, now you're going to have a different dimension, because you saw when Tyson was playing with Jelly, it was a different it was a different Pirates. But when Tyson was playing with Maela or Nyauza, it was a disaster. We all saw that. So now you are saying now we're removing the captain. Who's going to be the captain? And now you're dismantling the whole squad. You're starting afresh, building. Who are you going to put as a captain now and to wheel us forward? The one with more experience that needs to come into this.
No, we'll see. I mean, maybe it's not permanent. We'll see.
Results. There's no time to see. We need results. There's no time to see.
Exactly. But you're proving my point. You're proving my point. That's why I don't know if Tyson was a good fit, guys. You guys are speaking for him based on like past, like, you know what I mean? If he had kind of kept a couple of clean sheets or helped the defense be tight in the last couple of games and whatever, as Pirates charged to a Champions League finish, not Confederations, then maybe we can say, okay, no, Tyson was funny.
I think we are too hard on him.
But is that not what is expected of an elite sportsman, guys? What do you mean it's too harsh? He's an elite sportsman.
Too harsh.
this is the same Tyson that when Pirates defeated Chiefs 3-0, I mean, home and away, and dismantled a lot of teams, this is that Tyson people are praising that, he brought stability to Orlando Pirates. Yeah, a couple of games, it don't make him a bad player. This is a player that, he has done a lot. For me, he's tested player. He's well-traveled players in terms of with the national team. He has been in the war zone in terms of putting his body on the line. I mean, you can't just add one not the full season. Let me just say quarter of the season and say maybe play 2 or 3 bad games, and you say he's a bad player, both for the club or for the national team. No.
Okay, Greg, let me ask you this: did he have a good season? Did Tyson that's why have a good season?
In his standard, we say no. He has a standard. Yeah? He has set a standard for himself. That's why he's the captain of the
Okay, fine. Did he have a good season?
No, he didn't have a good season.
There we go. So do you think now, based on that, he still deserves to be in the national team?
But Percy is not playing in EPL there, but he's in the national team.
Yeah, but I don't think Percy probably has the weight on his shoulders of actually everyone sees that I'm not playing well.
Playing enough.
I know. That's what I'm saying to you, is that Tyson psychologically can't be in the same place as Percy. Tyson knows. There's no way he doesn't know that people look at him as one of the bad actors this season. So do you want someone with that on their psyche coming into the national team?
Remember, there's something we need to understand, Kamsa. There's national team duty, how you perform on a national team level. We have seen top players failing at the national team, but domestically are doing well. So let us not be too quick to judge now and say Tyson is a complete failure when it comes.
No. I'm saying look at the squad, Kelvin. Look at the squad. Most of the people in that squad have been pulled in on form, right?
Yes.
Can we agree on that?
Right?
Yeah. Based on form, can Tyson be in the squad?
Okay, cool. Now I'm saying to you. Now this is what I'm putting to you. Now I'm saying, would those players that have been pulling on form domestically, are they going to do the same replica, the same now, national team level? Since some of them are on their
not all of them, but you hope for the best.
Of course.
Not all of them.
No,
of course.
There's no hoping here. This is a national team. We don't hope
and there's no guarantee that Tyson steps into this national team and delivers.
I'm sure he will step and deliver. I am sure.
Right.
Because I know
Hugo Bruce isn't. Hugo Bruce is not sure. Hugo Bruce is not sure that Tyson can step in and do the job. So who are we? Because
you guys have judged him and you pulled him off the national team.
Oh, so we made up Hugo
You're
Bruce's
the one that
mind.
crucified him. Yes.
Come on, no ways.
Think about it.
People are talking about this one. Hold on, let me go to the chats. Here we go. There was too much hype around his name, and when he got to Pirates, he just did not step up. Some people reckon Tyson and Hunter, same WhatsApp group. They show us they're not material for big teams. In Bafana Bafana games, Percy does well, while Tyson is horrible. They reckon Ronwen Williams can be our captain. There's no love for Tyson here, guys. I'm trying to see if anyone can hey, no one, not a single. Gee. Wow, guys.
I've got his back. I'm backing up. I'm putting my head.
Clearly you are. When I'm trying to find in the court of public perception someone who agrees with you.
I've been someone at the international level. I know what I'm talking about. Playing international football and domestic is not the same. It's not the same. It's not. So I can put my head on the block. Let's judge him on that. Yes, club level we understand what he has done. But now,
hey guys, but then now is he the only stalwart that gets to stay because he was captain, or how does it work? He was the only one who should have been retained because he was captain.
No, we are saying he's a captain for a very long time. You remember Kune wasn't playing. Kune did do captain the national team, and there's a time Kune went to the AFCON. He was not in a good shape, but he went to the AFCON. They took him along and said, no, because you are the captain of the team and you have done so well, national team is a different scenario. We want you to go to this AFCON. We are saying the same thing. Hugo Bruce came in. You can't just throw your captain away, no matter what you heard about him or matter what. I don't think the clips you have watched, they will show you the good game that Tyson played. But
yes, national team games, not club.
Not club. Invite him to him to the camp and see it yourself. See what he can contribute. See his attitude. See whether he's willing to work for you. Because you need a leader. You need someone that can lead that team. Because we're having a new team here. We need someone that can lead the team. And Tyson
Exactly. We need new blood. We need new blood. Hold up, Kelvin. I'll keep on my file. But Kelvin, you were also sure he was going to make it at Pirates.
No. That was team. It wasn't.
Oh,
me.
that's him, not you. Not you.
Oh, that guy is wrong. That guy is
I
wrong.
mean,
It
guys,
wasn't me.
then you guys have seen it happening at international level. Sergio Ramos, the whole Sergio Ramos, left out of the Spain team. Come on, guys. At some point,
Ramos was injured.
For most of the season. Right.
Most of the season. So Ramos on his
Yeah.
But he's back. But he's fit now. He's fit
It
now.
doesn't matter. He's injured. There's already selected a squad.
That's what we're saying, is that Tyson mentally is injured because he heard everyone say that he's up all season. What do you mean? What do you mean, guys?
You can count the game.
Wait,
Ramos,
Kelvin, are you telling me that Tyson does not know that people look at him as one of the weak links in the team? Are you telling me he doesn't know that?
He doesn't know. He's a professional. He doesn't know. He doesn't care what you guys think. He needs to do his job on the field. Doesn't care what you guys think.
He doesn't care what we think. Okay. But he's not. Is he proving us wrong with his performances, though?
The standard is set for himself.
Not at late.
Okay, not of late. Dankige. That's why he's not in the squad. Done. Thank you, gents. I'm looking again. Still, no one agreeing with you guys. I'm trying to give it as long as possible.
Because this is what the media has portrayed him. No one is
What do
going to
you
agree.
mean? You make it sound like there's an agenda when
It is.
the performances. Also, you don't think the performances speak for themselves?
Guys, give him a chance to be in the national team, and let's see what he's going to do.
You're telling me you say national team is not a place to take chances, then you're saying we must give Tyson a chance.
No, it's not a chance taker. He's been there, not by mistake. He has been there. It wasn't by mistake.
Okay, gents. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Greg?
He is a captain. He has set a big standard for himself where he's coming from. So you expect him to do the same thing at a Pirates, which, I mean, Pirates defense, let's be truth. There's no 3 games consistently. You have the same back 4 or the goalkeeper. There's always chop and changing. You need to play with this, you need to play with that. So, I mean, no, we cannot judge him on that. In national team, he's doing very well. He's the captain. Hugo Bros came in. Okay, you are the captain. I want you to lead me.
Oh, okay. All right. Whatever, gents. I'm not. Yeah. Let's agree to disagree.
You're not convinced,
Maybe. I'm not convinced.
Yeah,
Let's see what these new boys do. I hope they take the opportunity to impress. There's some regulars that aren't in the mix, and Vala not in the mix. Labusa out, Gutierrez out. We've already spoken about Percy also not being available. Debo Mukwena. So there is an opportunity. I just feel like obviously when those players are available, the bulk of them, they'll kind of just walk straight back into the side. But let's see if these players can give Hugo Bruce food for thought. And then, of course, Black Leopards and Chipa. Black Leopards, whatever, it's done. They have to plan for life in the National First Division. Chipa are in a precarious situation. They don't know what's happening. Very quickly, in terms of Chipa, can they survive the playoffs? Do you think they'll make it? We don't know what's happening as far as the participants from the Glad Africa Championship are concerned, but do you think Chippa can avoid relegation?
For me, okay. So,
looking at an experience side for Chippa, I think Chippa has got the edge.
Right.
If you look at it in terms of the NFT teams, they still have that under 25 rule. This is the only time where they're going to be using the squad. So I'm saying the bulk of this team, the team when it comes to Chippa will be more experienced. But when it comes to the energy levels and then the different ways of having to acclimatize to different leagues, it's going to be kind of difficult for Chippa. Yes, they are not foreign to that league. I'm sure they know what they need to do for them to edge those teams out. But I think it will work on the favor of the NFT teams because they play more of tightly contested football. There's no space being allowed there. It's a robust, it's a 1v1. It's always having to stay with your man. compared to the PSL where they give you space, you can play, you can do tactical work. So there it's about snatch and grab. You need to get the result, score, defend as much as you can, so then you keep the 3 points. It's not about pretty football. So for them, they could have an advantage when it comes to the experience side. But if them not understanding the fact that NFD, you need to snatch results and go, it's going to be a problem because those teams want to still one on them.
For sure. Now, Greg, I mean, it's, Calvin makes reference to energy. Do you think CMI can energize the cheaper players enough to get it out of them as a former player, as someone who, can make it very blatantly clear that their lifestyles will change and take a huge knock should they go down a division? Do you think he's the guy to get that message across?
Yeah, coming from where he's coming from lower to cheaper, I think there's no big difference. He just make one step.
he needs to rescue his name at this point. At this point, he needs to save his name.
He just make one step up, and going to the playoff. Or otherwise, he could have been automatically relegated. But I think it's not for him. It's for the players to know what they are getting themselves into, because it's not easy to go to the playoff, and a lot of livelihood is at stake in terms of getting a new team, or you remaining in a team and getting a pay cut. So I think the teams like Skokune, and Royal AM. And they'll be licking their lips now, in terms of who goes first. I don't know who's gonna be automatically promoted, but NFD is not a easy league. A PSA team, want to play against, because right now the big league is for you to go to the PSL. So I think they will be more motivated. Cheaper players, they play the league after the last game, and the way they ended the last game, them leading and get scored in 30 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, for them to, and all of them just felt bad, and that energy, you need someone now to motivate them and let them know now they are going for a new league. It's not that PSL league they were playing, So on your first game is very important. How they start the first game, that's the most important part for them.
Okay.
More about it comes. It has to do now with the motivation of the team, making sure that players are staying at their highest level. Because if one of them drops now, if they lose one game, you know that energy it's gone. You lose one game, it's gone. So how they apply themselves into this, it's only them that has to take themselves out from this, because there's little coaching that has to do when it comes to NFT.
Okay, cool. Calvin, thank you very much. Gents, Greg, thank you very much. The time is running out and the lights are about to run out. But before we go, as front runner, and I'm sure I speak for everybody here, we would just like to send our condolences out to the Tuswa family. Tulani Tuswa, the former communications manager at Mamelodi Sundowns, an all-around nice guy, good human being, always jovial, always had something intelligible to say. We've lost the light. He passed in the early hours of Sunday morning, and a big light has been dimmed. Tulani, I'm just, just thinking about it. My heart gets heavy. I feel for your family, for all your closest friends, and everybody whose lives you touched. And we hope that you rest in power. So to the family, the Tuswa family, our condolences, and may you have all the strength in the world to get through this tough period. That's it for this week, folks. We'll link up again sometime soon. Let's figure out what's happening with all this load shedding and what's happening with these playoffs, and we'll react accordingly. As always, thank you so much for joining us on the YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe, and then you'll be kept up to date with all the stuff we post, including all the live kind of informational stuff that was coming through as the news feed throughout the week. So please do subscribe and spread the word. Thank you very much, guys. I've appreciated hanging out with you. I'm going to go get warm and go put on I've got one of those lights that you put on here. Because what else? Big ups to Fidel behind the scenes. And once again, thank you to everybody who participated in our chat section. Until next week, good night.
God bless.